All right, so I've been recording, so we're good to go whenever.
All right, so we ready to start this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
go for it.
so cool. We're gonna wing. All right, we're gonna wing it again. Welcome to the RSC podcast, the Triple Commit with two P's because why not? I'm a dead moose apparently,
I'm a Brave New World.
and today we have special guest on with us, Adammast. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for having me. Glad to be
No
here.
trouble. We're also going to give a shout out to yet again another alcoholic unofficial sponsor, Angry Orchard Hard Cider, crisp, refreshing apple. You are sponsoring and fueling my questions tonight.
I have a bottle of Jägermeister in the fridge. I
hope
might
they're paying
go and
you
get
for that.
all that.
Yeah, but I'm hoping if I throw enough shout outs out there,
They'll
pick
notice.
us
Yeah.
I would say Corona's
We're
looking really-
getting Natty Light if we're like with our desperation level. Natty Light's gonna come just like, hey, you guys want a sponsorship? Like, no, but we'll take it. Anyway. We'll take it
We gotta
anyways.
start somewhere, right? Yeah.
Once
Alright.
we get the Nagani briefcase going.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
The 30 pack of Busch Light.
All right, so tonight we're gonna be we're remote tonight, so we're gonna be running some Rumble while we're doing these interviews. So if there's some interesting expletives that just get thrown out randomly, it's probably Rumble related, and you might want to check the video stream to see what actually happened.
Yeah.
All right, so
Also, too, Corona is, if you guys want to sponsor us, we'll try and clear up the whole Corona versus coronavirus.
I will call it the Bud Light virus for the rest of the days if you sponsor us.
Yep. We don't need much as a sponsorship. You know, just ship a 30 pack to an address that you can email me about later.
How close are you to actually saying your address?
Not that close. I don't know. I don't even know what my email address is, so they'll find us somehow.
By the directions I've been given.
Yeah, but Bud Light can leave a Corona can leave a comment in the video.
Yeah.
But all right,
You
so
wanna kick it off.
well, I'm gonna kick off literally and figuratively here.
All right, ask your question before you hit the ball, or lead us into it.
All right, so Adam, first question for you we got is how's the alcohol content over in the ocean over there? It is the ocean, right?
Yeah, Ocean's my franchise. Honestly, I'm not much of a drinker myself. I know a couple people that have drank and played, but I don't think it's in excess, I wouldn't say.
Okay. We've learned that if you don't drink in excess, you tend to find more success, but
Yeah, there's a certain level, right, where
That is a bomber
drinking,
speak.
yeah, it calms you down a little bit before you actually go overboard, and then you have no reflexes at all.
Yep.
Mhm.
We've been thoroughly testing that out in our franchise.
Yeah,
There was a time when we did a
Level.
statistical test, and there's a bomber speak. You'll hit more shots.
Exactly. So, Adam, as far as the ocean's been going, I think I looked and you're ranked 2 overall in franchises as it
Yes.
stands?
exactly. Second behind Kip right now, and we've been slowly rising. I think 2 weeks ago we were 10th or something. So
That's good.
yeah, it's been
Also,
a good 2
darn you,
weeks.
Kip. What are you doing up there?
He's doing really well. He's got
Yeah.
like 62% win percentage as a franchise, and I'm second at like 58%. So
That's
gotta-
still really solid, which is also terrifying, too, that as far as the franchises go, as a GM, anything above 50% is just really good.
yeah, for sure.
'Cause
You have
there's
that many tiers, it gets to like 50% is a huge
competitive.
deal when you have like it's not just one tier. You have to do it in like 2 or 3.
Yeah, we got some really good GMs right now, so it's tough for sure.
Yeah, I really miss being GM, but I'm also too busy, and focusing on the podcast only increased my workload.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 minutes of prep I do each week.
And I forced you to do the prep this week, so I didn't have to do like the hour of finding people and figuring out what our storyline is.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm liking my improv drama class back in high school. It helped me figure out how to bullshit at the last minute.
Yeah, that was like every speech class I ever had.
Yeah.
Last minute bullshitting. Don't miss those days.
No, not at all.
Yep.
Nothing like nothing like writing a paper the night before too. Whether it was two-page paper or 10-page research paper, I almost never started those until a day beforehand.
Yeah, I was always really bad. I'm the kind of guy that like I'll sit there and go, oh, I'll start it at 8 o'clock or something, right? And then 8 o'clock runs around. I'm like, oh well, now it's 8:01. I can't start until 9, something like that. I just make excuses in my mind, and then it's midnight. Next thing I know.
Yep.
Let's
I'm
do it.
tired. I need a 20-minute nap, or
Yeah.
I'll start this, but there's some laundry I've been meaning to do for the past month. Maybe I should,
Nice
actually do that first.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm being productive. I got the laundry done. Maybe I'll do the dishes now. Oh shoot, yeah, it's midnight and I should do my lab report. Whoops.
Yeah. That last minute pressure forces you to actually do it.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're like, I'm not, whatever I write down is going to be fine. Like, I'm not
Exactly.
proofreading this. I'm not, I'm not making another draft. It's just
Yeah.
first time. Let's go.
Yeah. That's where it's not the best approach, but it does get the job done.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Right. So
But,
before we get this to be too far into how much we procrastinate, let's talk about one of our normal questions. You already said that you don't have much string over your franchise, but is there a bit of a culture in your franchise that you would identify? You've been at GM for, was it?
This will be my third season.
Yeah, I was about to guess 3 seasons. I should have just thrown it out there and prayed.
Well,
Those
Yeah.
look good.
John, you can always do corrections corner the next week, or you can just wildly assume things and then don't apologize. We're all about factual integrity here.
Yeah. So as far as culture, it's hard to pinpoint exactly. Besides a winning culture, of course.
Ooh.
Although we didn't do so well last season. But
Yeah, because I think, what is it? You went, like, your first season as GM. Look, I remember you had a pretty good year, at least from what I remember you starting out as. And then
yeah, I
last
won
season,
franchise of this season actually, and GM of the season. But it was a
Dang.
close race between Memlo, myself, and I think Shamu.
Mhm.
But yeah.
And then the season prior, I think you went from you went from first to not nearly as close to first.
Yeah. Below
To put it
500.
lightly.
So yeah, definitely not my best season, and hopefully not never gonna have a repeat of that season again. But we'll see.
Well, sitting at number 2 at the halfway mark is definitely a good way to start out. I know I'm feeling a slight sigh of relief in EM here because we went from being dead last in our division. We're now up to 3rd, and we're only a game behind
In major.
in
to
major.
clarify.
And then the entire franchise decided to go 25-3.
Yeah, I heard that was great. I was kind of jealous because my best for a franchise was 24-4 back in season 5. So you just barely beat my record. I don't know if it's the league record or anything, but it's probably 25-3 is pretty ridiculous for one
Right.
night. So I assume it's pretty close to any record.
Yeah, I was pretty happy in season 6. We had one night where I think we went it was like 23-5 or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
And that was just incredible.
Sometimes
But-
it just clicks.
Yeah, and the fun part about this one was that after everyone was reporting their scores and matches came in, Wolfie just started pulling people left and right into one channel, because apparently Ash was going to do an EM fight song with his recorder. My brother hopped in from his franchise and played Smoke on the Water on his ukulele in really bad out of tune. Wolfie had a guitar going, but the goal, at one point we found out that one of the shock games, Wolf only had 24 points in his victory.
Oh God.
So the goal was to get more people in the lobby in the voice chat than he had points in that game. And we succeeded. And then we realized, wait, we had more victories as a franchise that night than he had points in that game. So
Yeah.
we were giving him a bunch of crap about it, but he was just happy we got the wins all around. So, all right, let's see here.
Do you want to move on to bot questions?
Not just yet.
Not just yet. More franchise questions.
Well, more just how is Adam doing as a player himself?
Oh yeah.
I'm not actually playing this season,
Oh, you're not?
but yeah, I decided to sit out.
Oh, then I
don't
guess you're
know.
doing pretty good.
Well, I played last season, and the franchise didn't do so hot. And I figured, okay, this time I'll focus more on being a GM, and hey, we're doing well. So I don't know if I'll ever play again, to be honest, as long as I'm a GM.
More focusing on just general management as opposed to.
Yeah, I felt like last season, I felt as a player, I was focusing too much on my specific team and not the whole franchise, you know?
Yeah.
So this season, I just wanted to focus on the whole franchise because I didn't want to, it felt kind of bad not prioritizing other teams, you know?
Right.
Well,
I know with my. Yeah,
your first season, I focused on Elite instead of our team.
Yeah, that was tough, especially being a new GM. I was so busy focused. I had the same kind of problem. I started focusing on the franchise overall that our major team just fell apart. And then, Elite was such a booger. We sent John up there to try and fix it, but next season I switched it up. I'm like, okay, I focused so hard on GMing and just trying to catch up that we did poorly in a few tiers. So I'm gonna just, now that we had three a GM and two AGMs, I just split the franchise into thirds. I said, all right, I'm gonna worry about 2 tiers and that's about it. You're gonna worry about 2 tiers, and Wolf was one of my AGMs. I gave him 2 tiers to worry about, and I think that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's what I kind of did this off season for scouting. I just split it between me and my 2 AGMs, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, but okay. So all right, not playing, just GMing. How's the? How did you feel? I know obviously you won the midseason admin election. Were you nervous about that at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, we had some really good candidates. I wasn't expecting some of them to run, specifically Shamu. He's been, very active member of the league for a while, but I mean, he's been in RSC since before RSC existed. He was part of ORSA.
Right.
So a lot of people knew him, and he's been really helpful in the league. So he definitely could have been a tremendous admin. So. But also Slurp too was a good candidate. I mean, everyone was a good candidate, right? But those are ones that I just didn't expect to run, and I thought could have
dethroned you to an
beat
extent.
me. Yeah, I was a little worried, but yeah, worked out.
So now that you're back in as admin, is there I know in the past you've been the basically the robot of the league, making sure everything. The bot works, the 6-man spot. Any new projects there? Or?
Yeah, I kind of just like accidentally got into that role, to be honest. Because we had when I first became an admin in season 3, we already had a bot and a different bot developer who was admin. But he ended up leaving the league after season 3, and kind of said, he's not going to. There was some bad blood, not gonna lie. And he was just saying, he put all his work into that bot, and he didn't want to just leave it for the league, which I can understand. Like, it was his bot, his creation.
So he kind of yoinked it.
Yeah, but I mean, he helped us, gave us some time to make ours, and gave some guidance along the way, stuff like that. So he wasn't like just leaving us
high and dry.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good at least.
Yeah, so then at that point, someone had to step up and just make a new bot, and Memlo actually set it up. He was really helpful because I didn't know like how to host the bot, So he's been hosting it since then, up until actually just a week ago, changed to Musa hosting it. But I've just been like the actual coder for the bot, so as a programmer, that was what I was familiar with, and luckily they set it up and made it very easy for me to just get in and write some code for the bot and make it the league specific code that we needed. But yeah.
we definitely appreciate all the work you put in, because I know 6 Mans has been a massive hit for the most part. And then just, well, hell, all the stuff with transactions and I don't even know what the bot does half the time. Just match info, all that fun stuff.
And actually, shout out to Low Gravitas for writing the match command. That was like the one thing that I didn't know how to do, and he just stepped up and did it while I was doing all the transaction commands. So, and that's been like something that's pretty much been untouched since he wrote it. So he did a great job doing that.
Yeah, it's very rare that you ever get anything code-wise written and then you don't change it.
Yeah, I'm feeling that right now with the 6 Mans. Speaking of, you were asking about what I'm working on now. It's pretty much been working on fixing the 6 Mans bot for a
what's wrong with it right now?
There's every now and then there's just some issues that pop up, and got to fix that. So
have you ever considered open sourcing the bot?
Oh, it's on GitHub right now.
Awesome.
Anyone who's asked for the code, I've always just linked them to my GitHub.
You should link me the code sometime.
Yeah, totally will.
Awesome.
And I can actually put it in the podcast discussion channel for anyone listening who wants to see it afterwards. It's not hidden or anything like that. And that was one of the things we wanted to do, because when the bot got taken away before, we didn't want to have that same situation where all the code could all of a sudden just get yoinked and we'd have to write it from scratch again.
Yeah.
It's been open source since then, with the idea that anyone could just grab it if they want and use it for their own bot or copy it, whatever they want to do. I don't care.
Make pull requests, fork it.
Yeah. Yeah, if someone wants to, right now I'm kind of the main developer. I'm the only one developing, but there's been some people who've been interested in developing and helping me. So, if those people want to, they can, like you said, fork it, make a pull request, and then, go from there.
What's it written in right now?
It's in Python.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Actually, it's been nice because it's pretty easy to get into Python. But at the time when I first started working on it, I actually had no Python experience. So like the first week, luckily it was like during a long off season, because it was the winter, or right after the fall season. So it was like that whole December month was basically just getting ready for the
holidays and build the bot.
Yeah. So nothing needed to get done until like January. So I had like all of December to work on it. And the whole first week or two was mainly just testing and figuring out how Python worked. And then I started getting into the actual writing the transaction code, which is actually pretty simple. So that was a good place to start. Because most of that is just like, add a role to someone whenever they get signed,
Yeah.
It's nothing too crazy there.
Yeah. Python's always nice with how much it's a search for a library and use the library language. Yeah.
Yeah, and discord.py is pretty nice, although they upgraded it like, I don't know, a year ago or something. And we had to like redo the whole bot kind of to deal with that upgrade.
Yeah.
But ever since then, it's been nice, and the upgrade actually fixed a lot of things, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
My coding experience is minimal at best.
Meanwhile, I'm a programmer by trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've only been out of college for, I got a computer science degree, but I've been out of college for only 3 years. So by the time I was actually writing this, it's only been like a year and a half, and I really had not a lot of experience, I felt like, but it's a nice project to get into. And I felt like that was really what I wanted, was the experience,
Yeah.
I'd recommend it for anyone. Just write your own Discord bot or something.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I know a little bit of Java, a little bit of C++. Or sorry, not C++, C#. And I'm not talking about the music.
C#'s just Java. It's just nicer Java.
Yeah.
That explains why it felt familiar.
Yeah. C#, like, they want you to do Java before C# because if you do C# before Java, you'll not want to do Java ever.
Yeah, luckily I do C# all day.
Yeah.
I know some people that do Java and they hate it.
I do Java and I fucking hate it at this point.
So, long story short, if no Python, help Adam.
Yeah.
if no
I mean,
programming help at them.
even if you have if you're just interested in learning how to write in Python, I've got actually a couple people recently who've just asked me, I know you write the bot for RSC, can you help me with my bot,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always willing to help. So if you need help with anything Python related or, specifically Discord bot related, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see here. Outside of Six Mans, is there any other coding projects that you're looking into doing, or?
So we've had a couple things we talked about recently for stats. We're trying to, get a better stat system going because right now it's a little bit cumbersome. Basically, when you upload the replays and stuff to the website, then the stats committee has to go and find the replays, download them, and then they download them to their personal computer. Yeah, run a program on it, and then push that into a CSV file that they then upload and combine into this large sheet that we have. So something that we're interested in trying to figure out how to do is work with ball chasing's API potentially.
Yeah, because that can compile a large list of stats in
there's
very short order.
Stats, for sure. So more advanced stats would be available. Replays can be automatically uploaded and then grouped together and stuff like that. So it's easier potentially for players to go back and see replays after the fact. They can use them for scouting and stuff if they're all on ball chasing. But then also, you would just be hitting their API, getting all the stats from their program that they use, which is really nice. And then just putting that into the CSV file, you wouldn't have to.
It would shorten up a few steps.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's nothing too advanced. We haven't got into it too much, but something we're definitely looking into.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question. I don't know what it is anymore. Yeah.
Was it bot related or?
It's probably bot related. I have no idea. I'm absolutely lost now.
That's fair enough. I've got a question for you. So I know rank 2 overall for the franchise. Are there, as far as transaction goes, are you looking to make any moves? Have you made any big moves recently?
So I'm actually pretty proud of the fact that this season so far, I haven't made a single transaction in all of regular season. No temp subs, no signings or anything like that. Although I am constantly looking around for free agents just to try out and see, as options, because I think you always should, right?
Right. But, if you can improve somehow, why not?
Yeah. Even if your team's first, some people, for example, I was trying out a challenger free agent the other day, and he was asking me, my team's first in my conference. He's like, "Are you really looking for a change?" And I was like, "Well, Kip's team right now is 25-3. If we're not Kip's team, there's always room for improvement,
Right.
That's what you're chasing if you're trying to win a championship. So yeah, you got to always be looking at free agents, even if you got a solid team,
Yeah, I know
But so far, no actual transactions have been made. So, and that's a testament really to my players, just their activity. By now, I think most franchises, if not all of them, besides mine, have probably done at least one temp sub, right?
Yeah.
But all of my players have shown up every match day, and if they don't, they've communicated that, and luckily we've never had more than one miss. So
that's A, very rare, and B, very good.
Speaking of temp subs, that gets into my question that I remembered what it was. What would be I think that this has been discussed before for bot commands. What would be the feasibility of having a bot command for temp subbing specifically that would allow a captain to just say, give me a list of FAs that I could use as a temp sub for this player?
That's a good question. So right now, the problem with that is obviously the player has to fit under the cap.
Yeah.
Or there's cap restrictions for the temp sub. And the MOR information isn't public, and right now the bot has no idea about MMR information. It doesn't access anything related to MMR information.
So we'd have to make that accessible to it in a way.
It's possible. I've looked into trying to have the bot read from a Google Sheet, which is basically where all of our information is right now. And it's definitely possible, but it's not something that I think is something we want to do just because of the potential issues related with that. And also it kind of is a back way of seeing what people's MMR is. You know, if some people, if you're just a regular player seeing, you know, you could use that command, for example, to see what player's relative MMR is. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this person wouldn't fit if I tried to sub him here. So obviously his MMR is higher than this other player who does fit, for example. You know?
What about the potentials of making, say, a admin bot, which would be available to GMs and AGMs, to just allow them to generate a list quickly? Because normally, in my experience, a lot of times I'm just saying to a GM, like when I'm at captain or something, like, can you just give me a list of players that are viable for us to do when we're replacing this player? And they'll just give me the list of players that are available in our tier.
Yeah. That's more possible. It would still require the whole, like, having the bot actually be hooked up to the Google Sheet.
Yeah.
You know, through Google Sheets API.
And to a certain extent, you know, the cap calc or whatever the current sheet is,
the contract sheet.
Yeah. Since most of that stuff's listed in order anyway, assuming that your GM can do math.
Assuming that your GM's not lazy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a deal. The problem is, of course, if
like if you're at work or something, it makes it a lot easier to just run a bot command and send the list than to have to open up a sheet and try and navigate on a phone.
Daytime GM and nighttime GM.
Yeah. Actually, that was a policy we had back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're daytime GM today. I'll be nighttime GM.
Wait, what? Really?
When we only had two, Jimmy and I would split who was kind of like on call for players. So like it'd be okay. You have work until this time. I can handle the daytime questions. You handle them at night then.
Okay.
Yeah, because right after Crane decided to dip out and left me high and dry as GM, I then found out that my work schedule changed because we had new owners at the shop that I was working at. And they then extended hours till 8 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. when I'd normally get home.
Yeah.
So
that makes it rough.
Yeah. So I usually had about 20 minutes to eat dinner and finish any transactions before
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So I would normally be handling stuff up until he got home to try and head it off, and then he would deal with the rest.
Yeah.
On the night then.
It's kind of no wonder I had an absolutely horrid first season as GM.
First seasons are notoriously tough. Luckily, I mean, I had assistant GM experience with Shamu.
I had about 3 days worth of it.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, we've tried to really work with new GMs recently. There's a channel that we have in Discord specifically for them to ask a couple of veteran GMs questions that might seem stupid, but it's like, okay, this is just like a place where you can just ask any question you want. And no one's going to judge you.
Right.
I think that's been helpful. But yeah, there's definitely been cases where new GMs just come in and don't know what they're doing, and I always feel bad. But yeah, it's just the way it is sometimes. Like HUD this season had to just take over for bad, like right before the season started, and you with Crane, Yeah,
it's
not exactly the best situation.
Right. And yeah, even as like a
Crane communication skills.
I still found that funny that even in my second season, there were still so many things that I didn't have a clue about. So I'm like asking this question. I'm like, this is probably stupid, but
yeah,
I'm still just.
It's always worth asking that question. No one's really going to judge, and we're all just trying our best to be GMs, and we realize that we got jobs and stuff outside of this. So
right. Some of it too was us trying to figure out what loopholes we can exploit.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying from an admin perspective.
Granted, the only, I guess, loophole that we wanted to exploit, and I can't necessarily even consider it an exploit, because basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to figure out how frequently we could sub up.
Oh no, there's a different one that we did exploit. Because the first one was in franchise promotions with some of the decision making by people's in charge on where to place players in EM on tiers. We've had elite caliber players in major multiple times where we wanted to make sure that we could sub them up whenever the hell we wanted without ramifications. And then the one that was actually one that I think was really questionable ruling is that if a player subs up on a match night, so like say I sub up to elite and my major team's playing on stream, I'm still an eligible player for that major team since the match is at a different time. So I could play in elite and then go and play in major too.
Yep. And they let you do that, right? I assume.
Yep.
That the rules allow it,
that's-
and they haven't changed it.
Yeah, the rules allow that. I'm pretty sure, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So
Because the idea is, like, if you absolutely needed to sub someone up, and both teams agreed to just like change the time for whatever reason, like you know, you're talking about you already had the time set because of the stream, but like if both teams for your major team, your major match, I should say, agreed to just change the time to a later time to allow you to play for both, you know, why stop that?
Yeah, again, from a numbers perspective too, the higher tier team isn't gaining an advantage.
Yeah.
And the regular tier team is playing on the normal footing that it typically has.
Yeah, and it requires both teams to agree to change that time. So if the other major team says no, we don't want you to do that, then there's nothing you can do. But you had it agreed upon because you were on stream, so it worked out.
However, from a sports perspective, so this type of situation happens in high school sports, which the normal situation, and I have an abnormal situation, so I'm going to go normal first, is that normally teams play like freshman team, junior varsity team, varsity team. Yeah. And if a player were not to play in the junior varsity game, they'd be eligible to be promoted to the varsity team for the night. However, there was a school that will not be named that managed to schedule the games in the reverse order so that they played varsity first, and they tried to not play players that they didn't need to play as much as possible in varsity so they could demote them to JV.
Oh, yeah.
But if they played in a match in a tier on the night, then they lost their eligibility to play in another tier on that match night. Which was, for me, I see that I'm just like, wait a second.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
Because if my best major player is better than my worst elite player, I can just promote him without ramifications every night and have the benefit of him being able to sub in if it's going badly in elite or play in major if it's going well.
If you're promoting someone up, you always have to say, like, you're sitting this person out, right?
Yeah.
So, like, one of your players for your elite team, if you're just constantly subbing up your major player, you're forcing that player to just sit all the time and they're going to get upset. So I don't think that's really a realistic thing that someone's going to do.
Yeah, at that point, you might as well just promote the guy up.
Yeah.
But you want them in major. Because that's what we did in elite.
And how often are you actually going to be able to reschedule your major match to be able to play in both, you know?
Yeah, we only did it a few times. But
that's what our whole elite strategy was.
Teams agree to reschedule is very slim.
Yeah. It's kind of like with how you can't demote a player. It makes that a very viable strategy if you have a player that you're thinking of promoting, but you'd rather have them in major if you don't need them during instability. You can just promote them constantly until they stabilize the team.
Yeah.
But anywho, okay, so no transactions so far, not even a temp sub. All right, wild predictions time. Over under on how many teams you get into playoffs, and over under on how many championships you get this season.
All right. So playoffs right now. So season 5, I had 6 out of my 7 teams make, which I'm pretty happy about. Right now, I've got 6 out of 7 set up. Like they would be in the playoffs if the season ended right now. My goal is to get all 7. I'm not sure. Maybe last season someone did, but I don't believe anyone's gotten 7 out of 7 teams in the playoffs. I think one person last season had 6 out of 7, so they were close.
Yeah, we had 2. I think there were 2 teams that did it because Shamu beat me out for franchise of the season because he had 6 out of 7 and then had 2 championships because his premier team wound up beating my premier team in the finals and game 7 overtime goal on just a blown rotation. I was so sad. But yeah, we managed to get 6 out of 7 in there.
Nice.
But yeah, no, 7 out of 7 would be super cool. Definitely an incredible feat to say the least.
For sure. So that's my goal, and that's really, I mean, when I talk to my teams at the beginning of the season, I always say the goal is to make playoffs, right? The goal is not at the beginning of the season. You're not talking about championship. You're trying to just make the playoffs.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think every team has that potential, right? Like at the beginning of the season, every single team out there from any franchise has that potential. And you just it's all about just the growth throughout the season. You know, if you're putting the time to play together and stuff, you're going to make the playoffs. It's that simple. So if you're trying, you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like realistically, I'd say I'm hoping for 6 out of 7. My goal is 7 out of 7 though.
Okay. And then do you have any teams that you think are just an absolute shoe-in for championship? Any teams you want to call out right now? Just be like, they're going to do it.
You all put the pressure on?
Well, right now, my amateur team, Otters, is number 1 in the whole tier. So I think they have a really good chance. My challenger team, Stingrays, is number 1 in the Solar Conference right now. So I think they have a really good chance as well. But they got to play, if they make it to the finals, they either have to play the Polar Bears, who are, like I said, are 25-3 right now, or play a team that somehow beat the Polar Bears in the playoffs. So that's going to be tough if they are able to make the finals. The Lunar Conference is looking really good in Challenger right now.
Yeah, I know. We got a very strong and a very young team on with Shock and Challenger.
I think Wolfie handles that average age to get back down to normal though.
Right. Yeah, because on that team we have Ash, who just turned 13.
Congratulations, Ash.
Happy birthday. We have Dolfino, who I think is 15 or 16.
I know Dolfino a little bit. He was he went to high school with one of my older players from season 5. So.
And then we've got.
He's still going to high school.
Yeah, he's still going to high school.
Then we got Wolfie, who's I think hit 40 not too long ago. So
that's crazy.
So yeah, we always joke that our franchise is a bunch of alcoholics babysat by children.
Yeah, that's great.
But
yeah, other than those 2 teams, I'd say my elite team, the Sharks, have a good chance of making the championship run as well.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see about the other teams. Everyone's in a good position right now, so you never know once you hit the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Well, with 6 out of 7, well, I don't even know. Well, I'm sure I could figure it out, but I really also don't feel like calculating what the stats are on playoff odds, or not playoff odds, but championship odds if you get 6 out of 7 into playoffs.
Yeah. So last time, season 5, I got 6 out of 7, and only one. I had 2 teams make the finals, but only one of them actually won. My amateur team ended up losing in Game 7 after being up 3-2. So, yeah.
I just got a bot idea for you. We could make a Vegas bot. We need a committee to do Vegas odds, and then just have like Reddit Gold type thing currency, and you can bet on matches then.
We have. I don't know if we'll ever do that, but obviously we have the playoff pick'ems.
Yeah.
At the end of every season once the playoffs hit, so that seems to be a fun thing that people enjoy. Yeah. I don't know about actual betting and stuff.
That would be.
It'd be kind of if you have like a Vegas odds, kind of like just a committee that says actually honestly just take power rankings and do something off of that. You could just say make your picks, and based off of like how gutsy your pick was, you get more points for it. Is what that means more by that betting. Yeah. So it's like if you picked a team that no one thought was going to win, then like really good on you for knowing that they could win it, or you just absolutely shot in the dark with that one.
I can only imagine the spread. Like, do you do goal spread, or do you do game spread with the series?
Yeah, that'd be tough. I feel like it'd be game spread. Because goals would be tough.
You could just do it even gentler and just do win draw loss.
Except there's no
there's no draw.
Yeah, there is.
Playoffs.
Well, I'm talking about regular season games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were just on playoffs.
I was thinking all day, every day.
Just a prediction of like who's going to win and how far they'll go in the playoffs or something, right? And then just say over under on that.
Which is kind of what we're gonna we were planning on doing tonight, but we're going to push it to next week. We're going to borrow as many people from Power Rankings as possible, and then do some wild playoff predictions, and just see how far off we are.
And
Because,
See how many franchise names I don't know,
yeah,
and how many people's names I like better than others. That's how I'm
It's
doing
been fun
mine.
so far. Already seen like from the first playoff or the first Power Rankings how different it is, compared to the standings now.
yeah. I know preseason we were looking good, and then preseason we were looking good, and then about 4 weeks in we were looking horrible, and now we're looking average. So it's
Hey, you're on the upswing. That's important.
I'm pretty sure my team single-handedly removed Contras from Power Rankings front page. They're looking good until they got 4-0'd by one of the low teams.
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah, oops.
Yeah, that's what's tough about Power Rankings sometimes is you might have a team, multiple teams out there, like just have a really good night or something against one of the top teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just really out of the blue, like have a tough night against one of the lower teams, and you got to somehow, take all that into account. Like, it's just a bad night for them or something.
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting for Shamu's teams to drop the game.
Their match day 3 or something.
Well, no, I'm just waiting for them to drop a game in general because the Cyclones are sitting at like 27-5 right now.
Yeah, they've been doing well. Them and let's see, they've been doing really well in major. Obviously, the Polar Bears I've already talked about in Challenger, and then there's like the Galley Llamas or something. I don't know how to pronounce the team name. It's like a dinosaur name, but in Prospect, they're like, I'm pretty sure they're 24-4 as well. So.
Oh, is that RJ's team? The
Galley I don't know.
I can't think of it off the top.
It's her Prospect team.
It's a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they went 20-0 to start the season.
Dang, that's bonkers.
I know.
It's like Thunder Buddies on their debut season.
Mm-hmm. And then we sent half of them to IR, and it got bad.
You ruined my draft.
I didn't ruin your draft.
They ruined my draft for me.
Saved
by Blood decided to get a job, and that ruined it for us.
Yeah.
RSC's more important than
right.
Yeah. Well, I made a very precise designed team there. I scouted them really well, and it was like 35-4, and then they decided to rip themselves apart by going on IR.
Yeah. Oh well, tis the season. But
that was your contender team, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember the Sea Turtles.
I named them. They're like my puppy.
Yeah. I asked Crane about that because we wound up picking that name because of he basically threw out a poll / naming contest, and Crane knew that if he let John name the team, then John would basically do all the work for him. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And then Crane said, "Peace, see you later."
And I still took the team because they're my child at that point.
Yep. Once you name it, you take care of it.
Yeah. I've had a couple players want to rename some of my teams, but so far I haven't let them.
Yeah. What was it? Last season, the Bolts are also known as the Cute Boys because I made the deal with them that if they won the championship, I would let them rename the team to Cute Boys. So sadly, not a single one of them is left in the franchise.
However,
that name's still hanging out in our Discord channel.
Wait, did Xylo get traded? If he didn't get traded, he's still in your franchise from that team.
Okay, then all right. Then Xylo might be the only one we have left. Although I can't, he may be getting moved very shortly.
Oof. Hope this isn't the place he's hearing it from.
No. He let me know ahead of time. So hopefully that transaction goes through before this airs. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a jackass again. And that would only be the second time that in this season that EM has done something stupid.
Yes.
We have fun with this league.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right?
And yeah, I think that one's a little bit more on par with Rex trying to trade Void.
What? You mean this one's more on par with that, where it's harmless compared to the other one, which was.
Yeah. This one's less harmless. Or sorry, this one isn't super harmful. It's the first one that was more harmful.
The other one was hilarious because I saw it. I'm like, I don't believe this, and then it got confirmed. Like, okay, this is what I was expecting this to turn out like.
My dog is busy with peanut butter.
Wait, you're talking about when Rex was like an assistant GM last season?
Oh, did you not hear about this?
No, I think I remember it. I just wanted to make sure.
Rex traded Void when
yeah, he was the assistant GM as well.
And they're on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
that's great.
When we interviewed Rex, it turns out that was kind of a planned spoof. They were both drunk, and Void needed to get traded anyway. So they both decided it would be hilarious if he was the one who ran it through, and Void pretended that he had no idea about it.
Oh, okay.
So it was less scandalous than the rest of us all thought.
But
yeah, that makes it a lot better.
But their franchise ate the drama up entirely, so they all spread the word.
That's great.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Because I remember hearing about that, I'm like, well, I have threatened to cut myself before when I was a GM or a trade myself.
I'm surprised you didn't at one point or another.
I am too sometimes.
Let's see here. Trying to think of anything.
I have one. So with all the C-themed franchises, how do you feel about being one of the many? Or are you do you want to claim being the OG? So you have like the Abyss, you have the Ocean, you have Treco's like, I just watched Finding Nemo and I want to be a shark franchise.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm not sure when Tony became a GM season 6.
I think he was season 5 too.
Okay.
I'm
not sure when he got his name, but I know for a fact that I put my name in before Treco. And I took the I'm pretty sure Mako was a GM back in like season 1 and had the same like shark logo that I have now for the ocean. So it was already like in the RSC folders on Google Drive.
Nice and convenient.
Is that how you picked your name? Because you had a logo already pre-made for yourself?
No. So I was going to do sort of what Splat Monkey did with Planet of the Apes. I was going to do like the jungle or something and have like all or primates or something, you know, or like gorilla and monkey and shit like that.
And then Splat did it.
Yeah, then Splat did it literally like the day I was going to post it. So then I was like, okay, I need to just think of something and post it real quick before someone else tries to steal it. Which worked out because Treco almost kind of tried to steal it. He was like shark specific, right? But
yeah,
it's still the same idea. And he wasn't. I don't think he was very happy that I had a team named Sharks, and while his whole franchise is about sharks. So
yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I did that, then it was like, okay, I need to get this logo before Treco gets it.
Yeah.
So then I took it. It used to be, like I said, Mako's, and then Top Scott, I think, had it when he was the aquarium. So the season that I became a GM, he stopped being a GM, and the franchise was renamed to something else. I can't remember who took over for him.
If I'm learning anything, it's that RSC has an obsession with aquatic life for some reason.
Well, Tony has an obsession with Proteus,
like,
which is where that came from, probably.
Yeah, we also had like a couple like bird themed ones too. A couple seasons. Although I think
what was it? Because Gills has like ospreys and hawks and them.
And Tree had birds, didn't he? I can't remember.
I can never.
I don't know what Tree has.
Tree is the.
Tree's the ghost for
like the order or something.
Yeah, the order, all the like the secret society stuff.
So he just renamed his though, like season 6. So before that, I'm pretty sure he had birds. Like birds
so we're obsessed with birds, and then we were obsessed with
yeah.
Hey Jim, you want to do Air Force planes so we can have the F-15s, the F-18s?
Well, we'd have to use their actual. We'd probably want to use their actual nicknames instead of
No.
Nah.
I want the Jews.
The
the JUs.
The JU-87.
Every time I play like a plane game with Jimmy, he's like, "I see a Jew. I'm gonna go kill it." I'm like, that didn't sound awful at all.
Yeah. And here's our next public disclaimer: we are not anti-Semitic. We just don't like German dive bombers.
That would make us possibly even pro-Semitic because we don't like German dive bombers trying to kill the Allies, which are trying to save the Jews. So
the actual Jews. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are anti-fascism, just like the Russians.
And we are also very pro-plane.
Yes.
Or are we prop plane? Oh, bad puns. All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, to answer your question, I want to claim the OG ocean theme or aquatic theme because I don't know when Tony got his name.
And now, as
so, title of the podcast, Adam is the OG.
Yep. Although, like I said, there's the aquariums beforehand, so it wasn't like I was the first ever franchise with any aquatic animals.
Well, John, I know what we're gonna do for the remainder of the or for one of these episodes towards the end of the season. We're gonna put you on a franchise quiz.
It's tough keeping track of them sometimes, especially when they change names. Like Shamu. I mean, I was with Storm before I went and became my own. Made my own franchise. So I was familiar with his names.
Did he change his names?
And then all of a sudden, you started changing his names like this season or last season for some of his lower tiers. And it's just like, okay, what teams are these? Like, I've never heard of these before.
Yeah, because I remember he was doing like, he was trying to find a name for various like small storms.
Mm-hmm. Well, at one point, his prospect team was like Drizzle or something, and like no one on the team actually liked it. But it was like too late to change it at that point. So, yeah,
I'm surprised he doesn't have like what is it, El Nino as a tropical storm or something like that.
Katrina.
Oh God,
the Katrina's like, what's that about? Well, you know that hurricane that absolutely screwed up New Orleans. We're gonna do that to you guys tonight.
I feel like at that point I'd have to change my name to George W. To play against
just
them.
W. The dub.
The Bush family. Hey, you know the Middle East? We're going to do to you what the Bushes did to the Middle East.
It's getting political here.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
We do not
we also
endorse
don't endorse
any political parties. We just kind of find George W. kind of hilarious at times.
We're equal opportunity.
That's not what that means.
Shit talking.
That is not what that means.
No, we just happen to watch some Frank Caliendo stand up, and we have just as much ammo about George W. as we do about Bill.
Oh, I fucking love Bill.
We wonder what's in the
and Bill loves you. Yeah.
We wonder what's in the adult section of the Library of Congress.
The Clinton Memorial Library. If you like stuff, watch Frank Caliendo. It's funny as hell.
All right. Do we have anything else to completely ruin our reputation over yet?
I'm sure we can find. We can get religion into this somehow.
Religion? Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, we already talked about Jews, right?
We already talked about. Okay, yeah, we brought religion into it. Good job, us.
All right. Jews, money, or Jew. What is it? Not Jews. Politics, religion, and finances. I don't know. What's another bad?
Finances. Finances is only is only if it's like your family or you're talking about your money. You can talk about finances and not be entirely outlined.
True.
Like we could talk about the state of the market. Yeah, if you're talking about how much money you have, yeah. If you're talking about how the stock market's tanking, then you're probably pretty safe there, actually.
Yeah. Although
didn't the Dow go up like 100 points yesterday, though?
After how many did it go down, though?
I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say it went down recently.
It's gone down a lot, and it shouldn't.
Close to it.
It's not going to go up substantially until, or like over aggregate until coronavirus gets figured out, because there's so much uncertainty with that.
So basically, RSC taxes edition. Is that what we're doing?
I did my taxes already, so we can do that. Who wants to learn how to do their taxes on a podcast?
We should get Peach in here. I'm pretty sure he works with taxes.
I know
Give
my
everyone tax
taxes
advice.
involves me borrowing my dad's version of H&R Block. And then
I did that with my dad. I've done my taxes manually before, and that was actually when it was the complex year. It's not that bad.
every year.
Wait, you
every
did
year.
it during the complex year?
Oh no! So for me, as a complex year, because I had a lot of tax credits, because I had paid off all my student loan debt and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was a year where I had to do like all the credits I get from like that, in addition to like just normal stuff. And I didn't have software for that, so I had to do it all by hand, and then second guess myself the entire time.
Yeah, that's the year you need to go to HR Block.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's complicated enough when I do a decent number of like freelance and contract work, either coaching, either tutoring or teaching tennis.
Those are gifts, Jimmy. Those aren't wages.
Yes, I gift them a tennis lesson, and they gift me $55.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it. That's under the amount that
It's a-
requires you to declare as wages. That's a gift.
It's a free lesson as long as they give you $50 first, right?
Right.
Technically a gift.
Or I remember hearing about one loophole where this kid had a panini maker in his dorm room, so he would sell paninis for like like $5 or something like that, and was making a pretty good amount of money doing it. And then the school said, you're not allowed to sell food on our campus.
Yeah.
So he started selling napkins for $5 and was giving away a free panini with each napkin purchase. And
That's great.
yeah, so the police couldn't do anything about it, and campus was kind of irritated.
Yeah, you didn't have to get a license
Was this
to
guy
sell
like a
food or
pre-law?
I think he just he went from Dan the Panini Man to Dan the Napkin Man.
This sounds like a pre-law or like a entrepreneurial business person.
something. Yeah,
like
guys going places.
Yeah. Sometimes it really is about how you know how to abuse the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that in RSC. That's just scummy.
also me sub up to elite every night until it gets better.
Plus, our rules are perfect, so you can't
Yeah.
use it anyways, right?
Right?
There's no
Yeah,
rules.
this is an RC government broadcast. Our rules are perfect.
straight from the admin.
RC is perfect. There is nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen a single serious suggestion about changing our rules.
Nope,
They're just
not one.
perfect.
There are no serious offenses in RC. Everything is perfect.
Yep.
No one's ever gone off on a night.
And nobody's mysteriously disappeared after.
What, can we have like an RC Red Police Committee, or is there one already?
Well, there's a reason we have the name change form.
Yeah. Juan was trying to start his whole investigation committee. Can be part of that,
Yeah.
I guess.
One,
Secret Police, the SS.
Yeah.
he's trying to get basically internal affairs set up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone's been watching too much NCIS.
Yeah, like I get the feeling we don't have to worry too much about abuse of power here.
Evix.
That
Yeah. I mean, it's always something you got to keep in the back of your mind, but it's all in the trust system to a certain degree, and people are, like admins are voted in by other people in higher positions so that they can, hopefully trust them, right? You assume that if you're voted in as an admin, you can be trusted, stuff like that.
Yep, you would assume that 31 out of 32 GMs are relatively decent.
Yeah.
And if you do happen to have the 1 out of 32, you can always ask any of the other 31 GMs for help.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of us just want to reenact a few good men in RC.
You can't handle the truth.
Truth, you want the MMR ratings? You can't handle the MMR ratings.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me as far as I can wing it. I can't think of anything else.
That's been
because
fun.
our podcast is also perfect.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. We've never had echo or sound issues. It's just perfect.
And we've always had a well-researched plan going into every
We always plan. Always.
Mm-hmm. About 5 minutes ahead of time.
There's a
It's
plan.
time to do it.
All All right.
All right, cool.
So that's the RSC podcast.
Um,
Watching us.
you want to ask someone whether we're gonna have shirts up?
She said that they would be.
You want to ask the person who lives with you that is currently probably at your house whether they're going to be before we say something.
What did you say, Linz? All right. Theoretically, they'll be up by the time we release this one on Monday.
Okay.
What are this new shirt designs or?
This is RSC Triple Commit podcast shirts with we have the Triple Commit logo, which is in the background on summer podcast and was painted during episode 3.
Episode drunk.
Episode drunk. It was the one where I literally sent Cake. Cake's like, give me a 1-line description. I said, wow, I was drunk as fuck. And then he followed up with, I'll come up with a real one. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Shout out to Cake for dealing with us and getting this uploaded each time.
Cake would be a really good 20 questions game master. He can ask you so many ways to describe your podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to see Cake on one of these at some point, but he has a tendency to just mute himself in the middle of meetings and stuff, so he doesn't have a great setup. I think he has his computer and stuff just like sitting in his living room with...
I mean, to be fair, that's what I have going on right now.
Yeah.
I've got a dog in the background.
Your dog hasn't barked.
My dog doesn't bark unless you're over, apparently.
Yeah. Well.
No, my dog just... Well, it's a husky, so it talks more so than anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
I know what you mean. I've got a Rottweiler that kind of does that. It's like, rah, rah, rah.
So I've been doing that.
What are you trying to say?
I've been doing that to Freya since they've got her to try and get her to talk. And I started finally hearing the in her bark when I was making dinner on Friday. I'm just like, yes. It's finally there. I've been trying for this for like a year now.
Well, what's it? For a hot second, no, you didn't do it. My brother, Radiated Seal, he actually got her to sing the last couple lines of "I Feel Like a Woman." He would just go row, 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 and
your brother was doing that.
Yeah, and then she would bark twice.
Nice.
Well, there's a time with one of our discords that if someone went into that, everyone else would follow up with the and it would just like you would just do it at absolutely random intervals for no reason and just disrupt any conversation with it.
Nice.
We also did that with and his name is John Cena.
That's part of my clicker training to get you to score goals one day. It's like yeah. If you score a goal, we'll do this.
Yeah, because you had the soundboard for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was...
So whenever there's a goal scored, it would just play, and that really increased goal production. This is way before RSC was a thing. There's that. There's the... We gonna pump you up.
The good old Hans and Franz... what was it? The Allstate commercial?
That's originally from SNL. Hans and Franz.
Yeah. That's no. Right, so you guys are IRL friends?
Yeah.
We used to live in the same subdivision, and well, now we don't live quite as close, but
it's in like a rock's throw to get over.
Let me ask you: did one of you guys join RSC on your own and then invite the other one in?
Okay, so it's interesting. So originally, Michael, Jim's brother, a Radiated Seal, found the league through like he was playing with a random, and the guy like sent him a link to the Reddit post, and he shared with us. And I remember to sign up, he forgot to, and Jim completely didn't know it was a thing. So I got in the league first and then pulled Jim in, and then Mike joined afterwards. So the person who showed us it was the last one to join.
That's funny. But obviously you guys had all been playing Rocket League together before that, right?
Yeah. Pretty much since the PlayStation beta.
Yep.
Oh, really? Wow.
We had a friend from a previous game who saw Rocket League and just was like, you guys are going to love this game, and just sent us beta keys.
Nice.
And that's how we found out about it. But yeah.
And now we have epic server performance.
We have epic matchmaking, my god. The amount of times that, like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm playing solo in ranked, and it puts me. I'm at like 1450 to 1480 on the night, and it puts me with a 1200 and an 1100, and we're against a team of 1480s to 1450s. And I'm just like, what does the game want to do to me? Like, because this isn't just happening to me. Like, I know some of the GC guys have had this issue too, where they get put with like a party that's like a 1300 or like a 1200 and like their 1100 friend, and there's like absolutely no reason why they should be put in one with a GC teammate, but two they're against a team of full GCs still.
Yeah,
It's like not even like their highest elo isn't even in range for this, and it puts them in there.
They did change the matchmaking recently, didn't they? So like it very heavily weighs whoever's the top on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of ignores, I think, that 1100 player, whoever's like really low.
Yeah, well, the issue we've been seeing though is like it's been put the highest person in their party is at least 100 to 200 MR below us, which is like that's where it's like weird because it's like the crazy thing too is like I got one of those matches and I'm just like it's gonna drop 12 MMR for me for like this game because it's gonna say that I should have carried this party, but we're against like a team that's averages like 200 above, and I'm not even in this party.
Yeah, that's always the fun part.
Yeah,
because Varus was showed us a screenshot, and he was the highest in that entire lobby by a good 300 MMR.
Jeez. Yeah, because I had like almost the exact same one as Faded like the day before.
Yeah. Oh, it's well. Anyways, that's why I'm really grateful for RSC because I know each night it's going to be fun, stressful, but at the very worst, fair.
Yeah,
league's perfect.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it. Better than
misplace anyone, right?
But better than Psyonix matchmaking. League's perfect.
Yeah, that much I can guarantee. I think RSC in general does a slightly better job than Psyonix/Epic does.
That's good to hear. Try our best.
The bar is set low. Very low.
Yeah.
Very elo?
Yes.
I am impressed with the number of pun names in this in the league too. I think that might have been my draft.
Oh, I think I know how you're going to be picking your teams.
You go by player name.
That's how I'm picking my tops.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bracket / playoff pick'em we're gonna do next week will be very entertaining.
I need people from power rankings to offset the stupidity that I know I'm going to ingest into it. I need someone who actually makes a real playoff pick'ems because I know that two of us aren't.
Well, you know what we could also do is we could also bring in Direwolf so that we can make some completely uneducated guesses.
You want to do some double blind analytics because that's going to be double blind for sure.
Yeah, just don't even show her the standings or anything. Just like pick a team.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll tell you the team name, the franchise name, and the GM name, and you just
you gotta pick it from there.
Yeah. I think that she's not allowed to pick EM teams to get rid of the easy choice.
I think she knows us well enough to know that if she were to pick EM teams left and right, it wouldn't go well.
Watch her actually have the best predictions too.
Probably. I know the way I'm picking them is not going to be beneficial. And if they do win, then I'm going to be very proud of them. They will then be my children too.
We adopt way too many people from
this.
I
was gonna say that's a pretty low bar. Just win a championship and you get adopted.
Win a championship, you get adopted.
If you're Canadian, you get adopted.
If you're Canadian, you get adopted.
I heard Lynn scream in the background, "Baby Moose,"
which is also adopted.
Yeah, one of the guys that he's not. He's been in RSC / with us for the past 2-3 seasons.
He's only been with you for one season. He's been in the franchise Discord as a privileged member for longer than he's been a member of the franchise.
Yeah, because what was it? He came in Surge came in as like a perm FA, And I think, yeah, it was season 5 when the summer season when I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I brought him in as like a temp sub for literally one match. And then he couldn't really commit much more beyond that because he happened to be
He has a busy real soccer schedule.
yeah. So then the next season we kept him, but we just basically put him on IR immediately because he could never make match days.
Yeah.
And then I think this season he could make most matches, but he would have to like dip out.
He had a risk of missing game 4
Oh,
if stuff went long.
So he hasn't. I know he hasn't. For the most part, he hasn't been anything other than an FA for like 90% of the time. But he's been in our Discord forever, and I know at one point or another, we got drunk and renamed him Baby Moose, and he became my adopted. He became my adopted Canadian son.
Was that when we were at the bar for my birthday that happened?
Yeah, we were in Royal Oak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That day.
Yeah.
Discord general chat will never be the same after that whole thing happened.
I thought we just put dog pictures in the.
No.
I know we did
You can
that.
go refresh your memory of what was said in general chat.
Mhm.
It's on RSC general.
No, EM general.
AM general.
We know better than to wind up giving ourselves opportunities for strikes in
Yeah.
It was, as I recall, it was not anything like it was filth, but it was like double entendre filth, and like the kids just were like, "What the hell is going on in here?" And all the older people were just laughing their ass off. And like I think that Serge came in with like I feel so young right now, and like 5 people responded, "That's because you are young." The dude's 17.
give or take. Yeah,
He was like
'cause
16 at the time.
we keep asking him when he's going to turn 18 so he can drive us to the bars.
Oh, he can, so he can
Nice.
come drink with us when we go to Canada. He can drive us.
Yeah.
We've established that he can drive us to the bars already. He agreed to that deal. He would drive us to the bars and then ferry us around while we drink.
The next question is, how on earth are we going to get to Vancouver?
Tell him
'cause
to
that's-
drive to Windsor. And curling. That's why Windsor was a good idea for curling, because we can get him to come because he's Canadian. We get Kenny to come too.
Well, yeah, we'll bribe Crane with poutine.
Nice.
Get Pickle. We can just get the reunion tour going.
Well, we also have Green, who's Canadian, and
Yeah.
I think Drupinson is also Canadian as well. We have a ton of Canadians in.
There's a lot of Canadians just in Rocket League in general. Like a lot of good players are Canadian on the pro level even.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had heck, when you and I got to week 2 of the qualifier, we had Null, who was a French Canadian.
Yeah.
And then
Get more Canadians in your franchise if you want to do better. Do you have any Canadians, Adam?
I don't think so.
I think that's the difference between you and Shamu right now.
Does Shamu have any Canadians?
Probably.
It's not Kip being number 1.
It's not Kip. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
Kip
know
himself
franchises.
is Canadian, isn't he?
Yeah. There you go.
Is he?
He's kind of cheating then. He doesn't even have to get other players that are Canadian.
He has a Canadian already.
He already got that.
Does he have a Canadian on every team then, since he's the GM? Is that how that works?
Yes, yeah, if you go by the roster command. Yeah.
Mhm.
he's on there for
Yeah.
every team.
Yeah, so he's the Canadian wildcard.
There you go.
John, you and I
So-
you and I like half cheat the system. We're Canadian by proxy
Yeah.
because we're both from the Detroit area, so we're like
And-
a 10-minute skip away from.
And we both went to school in a place that's more Canadian than American.
Yeah, the UP of Michigan. It's a little bit more evident when I talk than John, but you know.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
yeah, you start accentuating the
I got the
A's,
accent.
the O's, the U's.
Oh yeah.
Also, we call it a sauna, not a sauna. I can't even say it normally
You
now
want a
anymore.
sauna?
Sauna. Yeah. So, I was pleased with myself. The couple excursions I had into Canada, I passed for a local once or twice.
Oh my God.
Nice.
But anywho,
You just play it. You play the accent all the times. I actually control it, so it doesn't
can't-
come out at all times.
it's always stuck with me, and then it gets worse the more I drink.
Oh, this is a map still. Damn it.
Mostly because, what was it? We used to, when I was playing tennis for school, we'd have to go, we'd have like 5 a.m. workout sessions. And then what happened was, at the time that we had to go work out,
What are you going to talk about? The fact that your defroster didn't work?
no, it was back when I was
There's
still in the dorm.
there's so many things.
I was still in the dorm, so I was walking. We'd.
I could have sworn you and Brian started driving up at one point.
Oh, we did, but regardless, we always had to go out the back door of the dorms of WADS, and then when we either start walking up the hill or getting, wait for my car's windshield to de-ice both inside and out
With a scraper, both inside and out.
Yes. The Gordon's food truck guys would be bringing in the food right then and there, and those guys were local Finns, and they had the heaviest accents. So when you talk to them every single day, I started picking up on the vowels.
Yeah.
And I came home, and all my friends from high school are like, "What the hell's wrong with you? You sound like you're Canadian and not just standard Midwestern."
Oh yeah, back in GP, don't you know, eh? I have a friend who opened an interview with that. He's like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that."
Go.
So it sounds like it's good to be back in the GP. He goes with the full send accent, and it's like, I just realized that could have been very insensitive. I'm sorry. Please restart.
Yeah, just delete that first sentence from my interview, please. All right, I actually got to go, guys, but appreciate you guys having me. It's been fun.
Thanks for being on. So
yeah, thanks for joining us, and thank you for giving us a final stop point for this podcast, because we're just going to keep rambling and mumbling until
yeah, no problem. All right,
we ran out
you guys
of
ever
ideas.
need an extra guest, just hit me up.
For sure.
We'll do. So, all right, we'll catch you later, Adam, and thank you guys for listening to the Triple Commit.
Yeah, check out the shirts. We'll put them in the description.
We'll put them in the description /shop / also buy merch if you want team merch.
And remember, the Triple Commit shirts will support the podcast so that we can pay for stuff like distributing to Spotify and iTunes, so that you can listen to it in the ways that you want.
So just message me, because I'm not creating full new stuff, but if they want updates, I can.
Updates? Okay, so something about if people want updated stuff, we can update it, but we're not doing it. The Dire Wolf designer is not doing anything super new at the moment.
Okay.
Because she has lots of other freelance and just general job responsibilities. And I don't know how to do anything more than stick figure, so I'm not of any help.
All right. So we'll see you next time on the Triple Commit Podcast.
Yay. And stop recording.
Yeah, kill it. Burn it with fire.